Tonight, a dramatic, deadly shootout in a busy Montreal neighborhood.
It's a very, very sad day. It's a nightmare.
A police officer and bystander killed the gunman dressed in camo as residents fled.
They were running for their life.
The violent manifesto sources say the shooter left behind. Bowing to growing pressure, the British Prime Minister announces he is stepping down.
I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
Keir Starmer's downfall and who could take his place.
What soft drink would you like?
And AI could be coming to a drive-thru near you, but is it up to the job?
Can you give me a side of ranch?
Want to add 2 cookies for $1.59?
No, ranch.
How it is already changing work in the U.S.
From CBC News, this is The National with Chief Correspondent Adrian Arsenault.
Thanks for joining us. Police in Montreal are mourning one of their own tonight, killed responding to a gunman who opened fire in a Montreal neighborhood. The first officer to die in the line of duty in that city in more than 2 decades. It is 34-year-old Mohamed Lamine Ben Radwan, a 5-year veteran of the Montreal police, who was killed in that terrible daytime shootout. The gunman seen here exchanged fire with police outside a hotel. When it was over, the shooter was dead, along with the bystander caught in the crossfire. So the gunman's exact motive still coming into focus, but sources telling us tonight he left behind a violent manifesto targeting women. Sarah Levitt takes us through what we have learned and a warning: her story does contain disturbing video.
A chilling image, a gunman dressed in camo brandishing a long-range rifle. The deadly shooting with police caught on video, parts too disturbing to show.
It's a very, very sad day. It's a nightmare.
In this video, verified by CBC News, you can see the shooter chase an officer. Then seconds later, you can see him reloading his weapon. In the end, 3 people were dead, including a police officer identified as Mohamed Lamine Ben Radwan, a bystander, and the shooter himself.
It was a 911 call from a citizen telling us there's somebody who's shooting.
The call came in around 11:30 a.m. in a densely populated part of Montreal, a complex with a hotel, condo high-rises, and businesses. Witnesses say they heard dozens of gunshots and saw police descending on the area, including a nearby park. Brandon Benchamil El Kaim filmed the scene from his condo.
I saw parents ripping their kids off of the play structure. They were running for their life. It was very clear to me that there was something serious going on there.
Shayna Uakin says she was less than a block away when she saw the gunman reloading his weapon. That's when she says she heard him say,
"It's gonna go down, ça va mal y aller."
Even after the gunman was shot and killed, an emergency alert was sent out warning citizens of an armed and dangerous suspect, sparking concern there could be another shooter. A wide perimeter was set, even resulting in the evacuation of St. Joseph's Oratory, a historic basilica 5 kilometers away from the shooting. By late afternoon,
The immediate threat is controlled, safe, so the community is safe.
Caught in the crossfire, a civilian believed to be shot and killed. Another civilian was injured, so too was a female police officer. The shooter left a violent incel manifesto, part of a misogynistic movement targeting women. He also called for a violent revolution. Now, Quebec's police watchdog, paired with provincial police, are investigating.
The tragic events that unfolded today have deeply shaken the people of Montreal and, more broadly, all Quebecers. And I'm personally deeply shocked and saddened by what has occurred.
The police chief hailed the officers involved as heroes.
And Sarah, I understand we're learning a little bit more tonight about the bystander who was killed.
Yeah, several Jewish organizations have confirmed that Michael Mizrahi, a prominent member of that community, was the civilian killed. Now, the police chief not going into circumstances of that death, but Quebec's domestic security minister says police are aware of a video that appears to show the officer shooting Mizrahi. But he dissuades members of the public from coming to any conclusions, saying that's exactly what the investigation is for.
All right, thank you. That is Sarah Levitt tonight in Montreal. 2 Mounties are in stable condition after being shot in the line of duty outside a home in a small city northeast of Regina.
rapid bang, 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 and then you hear the whistle after. I was like, okay, and then I could smell gunpowder. And I was like, holy Christ, man! That's what the hell is going on? This is the little town of Melville.
So that witness also says the apparent shooter was involved in a pushing match with neighbors over a property line and went behind the house before opening fire. Another says he saw one of the officers fall as they approached the home. The RCMP say 55-year-old Marcus Dodge has been charged with various offenses, including attempted murder. Well, British Columbia officials have lifted dozens of evacuation orders around the Lytton wildfire, letting some families return home.
It is still out of control, and we're taking good advantage of our weather and winds to be able to put staff in the right places.
But hundreds of properties are still on evacuation alert, and reports are emerging of damage to structures. The fire still covers around 700 hectares, and fire crews are working to contain it. Well, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer resigned this morning amid some shrinking poll numbers and growing questions about his leadership. As Briar Stewart explains, this came as no surprise.
It was obvious change was coming at 10 Downing Street even before Keir Starmer walked out.
The question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election. I have heard the answer, and I accept that answer with good grace.
And just like that, the revolving door of British politics turned once more. In less than 10 years, 6 different prime ministers have resigned. Starmer is the latest. Before that, there was Rishi Sunak, Liz Truss, Boris Johnson, Theresa May, and David Cameron. Starmer's term began nearly 2 years ago after a landslide Labour victory, but then came the political struggles. Among them, his decision to appoint Peter Mandelson, a close friend of Jeffrey Epstein, as UK ambassador to the US. But Starmer's personal style was also a factor. Some called him bland. Did you like him?
I didn't dislike him, but I think he had no, you know what I mean, go, get up and go.
I've heard he's a nice man, and perhaps he is, but as a politician, no, not for me, no.
For others, they believe his government didn't do enough to make the country more livable and affordable.
We hope that the candidate that are going to take his place might have enough power to drive what's needed for the country to move forward.
That I will put myself forward in the
And
process.
this man will almost certainly be next in line to lead the Labour Party, Andy Burnham. The former mayor of Manchester was sworn in as a Labour MP after winning a crucial by-election last week.
So help me God.
And his arrival in London was greeted with the type of wall-to-wall media coverage that befits a future PM.
I think Burnham is obviously a better salesman, but the question is whether a better salesman can sell pretty much the same policy offer to the electorate.
And if the race to replace Starmer really is a coronation, it could mean that Burnham is moving into 10 Downing Street as soon as mid-July.
And Briar, can you tell us just a little bit more about Andy Burnham?
Well, he was mayor of Manchester for 9 years. He also served as in cabinet in Gordon Brown's government. That was around 20 years ago. But there's a lot of uncertainty, Adrian, around what kind of policies he would push forward. Recent polls suggest that the Labour Party is trailing to the right-wing Reform Party. Its leader, Nigel Farage, has said that once a new prime minister is sworn into office, a general election should be called.
All right, thank you. That is Briar Stewart in London tonight. Now, later in the show, Margaret Evans details the steps along the way to Keir Starmer's downfall. That is in about 20 minutes. Well, Mexico's president says her country has strengthened its relationship with Canada ahead of upcoming CUSMA talks.
En México no se vive perdón, pero ni en Estados Unidos ni en Canadá.
Claudia Sheinbaum told Jorge Barrera that Mexico has formed a common front with Canada on the future of the trilateral trade deal with the U.S. Both countries have publicly said they intend to seek a 16-year extension of the agreement. A virtual trilateral meeting will take place on July the 1st. Well, the latest inflation numbers are in, a surprise for analysts and not a good one. Annual headline inflation based on data from May has hit 3.2%. That is higher than expected and the highest in 29 months, led by the surging price of gasoline, but also other goods, including food. Well, as always, that single number hides some deeper economic realities, some more encouraging than others. Anis Haydari takes us through them.
Inflation is up in Canada again. The overall rate, 3.2%. But vegetables, 9% higher in May versus the year before. Take tomatoes, which this pizza place buys daily. But prices aren't what they used to be.
It'd be like $5 or $4 or $6 maximum. And it was $25. I looked at the teller and I told her, like, what is this? Like, it's not us.
It's not a one-off. Tomato prices shot up 45% in May. Statistics Canada pointed to bad weather and fewer tomato crops being planted due to tariff threats. Plus, fresh vegetables cost money to move quickly.
The transportation represents about 3.5% of the retail price of food. For vegetables, that's much higher. They're less processed, they're coming from further away. So we're probably looking at something closer to 10 to 15%.
So increasing fuel prices are a factor too. Gasoline itself jumped so much, it pulled inflation across the board up by an entire percentage point.
There will likely be further price increases for energy-intensive goods and services. You look at things like airfares, travel tours. We saw some big increases in inflation for those products in May.
Without a fall in some housing costs, inflation could have been higher. But rising costs for groceries and energy still have many feeling worse off.
When people go to gas up their cars or start to see the impact on their purchasing power, then that starts to set off essentially inflation expectations.
Those expectations are watched by the Bank of Canada. Outside of energy and food, most inflation was within the targets for the bank, which sets interest rates. But back at the pizza shop, not a lot of options.
A tomato bag costs you $25. It's still too much.
Tomatoes. Inflation or not, he won't make a pizza without tomatoes. Anis Haydari, CBC News, Calgary.
Canada's Competition Bureau says it now has court orders to further investigate the parent company of Sobeys. The Bureau has been looking into property controls. Those are legal agreements, often with plazas or malls, to limit where competing stores can open. Reporting by CBC News helped bring this practice to light. The court orders apply to chains owned by the Empire Company, including Sobeys, Farm Boy, Freshco, Foodland, and Safeway. Well, delegations from Iran and the U.S. left Switzerland, claiming progress in negotiating a permanent peace.
They can be confusing negotiators, but we feel like we're making progress. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Both sides say they have established mechanisms to manage the Strait of Hormuz and the conflict in Lebanon, but there are also some contradictory messages on whether Iran will allow nuclear inspections and on how it will use unfrozen funds. Negotiations between technical teams are still ongoing. Well, Ottawa has unveiled this country's nuclear strategy today, one the federal government hopes will help it meet its goal to double the country's energy grid by 2050. David Thurton now with the plan and the pushback.
The federal government looking to expand Canada's nuclear industry.
We are writing the next chapter in one of Canada's greatest industrial success stories.
The federal energy minister unveiled Ottawa's nuclear energy strategy. Its top priority, to begin construction on up to 10 large nuclear reactors, 2 by 2035, another 5 by 2040, part of a plan to double the capacity of Canada's electric grid by 2050.
If our goal is to double our grid and reach net zero by 2050, there is no credible plan for Canada to do that without nuclear energy.
Compared to fossil fuels, nuclear power plants produce little to no carbon pollution, but environmentalists aren't convinced.
This is very kind of old school thinking.
Greenpeace says while Canada plans to support nuclear, other countries are looking at renewables.
Right now, wind and solar power backed up by batteries can do the same job as nuclear power at a much lower cost and at much less risk.
The new reactors won't come cheap and are expected to cost more than $100 billion.
One of the things we're focusing on is working with the provinces and working with proponents to make sure we spread that cost effectively over the life of the project.
But cost isn't the only issue.
We still have no technology
to dispose of nuclear waste.
Advocates for nuclear energy say there is an established plan for that.
So we're dealing with a very safe technology, and one which has a waste stream, as do all technologies, including wind, solar, and batteries, but one that's been, really remarkably well managed.
Another big question is where these new reactors will be built. So far, only Ontario has plans for new nuclear power, but the federal strategy calls for at least one nuclear reactor to be built outside of Ontario by 2035. David Thurton, CBC News, Ottawa.
The federal government is directing the company developing Canada's first high-speed rail line to consider changes to the route. The minister says they're responding to public input, but as Ashley Burke explained, some protesters want the project called off entirely.
No Alto! No Alto! Protesters trying to put the brakes on high-speed rail.
It's all for the money. It's nothing else, just money.
It's only going to feed and help the politicians and the business people that want to go from one hub to the other.
Some worry the proposed track would slice through their farms, properties, and communities, forcing them to give up land.
I understand the fear. It's kind of the fear of the unknown.
Canada's transport minister says after more than 330,000 people weighed in during consultations, he's now directing the developer to study a potential stop in Kingston, Ontario.
You think about people in Kingston who might want to go to a Blue Jay game or a Montreal Canadiens game and can be back at home in their bed by midnight. It will literally change life in those kinds of ways.
The original proposed plan was more direct from Toronto to Quebec City. Now Alto needs to look at dropping down to Kingston, which would make the trip longer and cost more to build.
Yes, there is additional cost with it, but there's increased ridership to compensate with the extra cost. I'm not going to go into more detail, but the warm fuzzy feeling is that economically it makes sense to have the station in Kingston.
But the new study doesn't mean property owners are breathing a sigh of relief. The old plan is still on the table.
Does it alleviate? It might for some. I think the hierarchy for those who are concerned about this project is still no Alto.
The opposition wants the government to scrap the project that's estimated to cost up to $90 billion.
Conservatives would use the Alto research money to take taxes off used cars.
Residents will start finding out in the fall if the train will cut through their properties. The transport minister says the government hopes to negotiate with property owners willing to sell, but will expropriate land if it needs to. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
Prime Minister Mark Carney announced this morning that Chief Justice Glenn Joyal is his pick for the Supreme Court of Canada. The Chief Justice for Manitoba's Court of King's Bench was officially nominated today to the country's highest court. Joyal has been on the bench for over 25 years, including as Chief Justice since 2011. His nomination comes after the retirement of Justice Sheila Martin at the end of May. Well, as we enter peak tourist season, Europe is in the grips of an intensifying heat wave.
It's called an omega block.
How long it could all last. The Ottawa Senators have lost their captain, but is this part of a bigger trend?
Players in Canada, especially American players, are saying, you know what, maybe I'd rather be somewhere else.
How some stars are forcing teams' hands. And Nanaimo bars, nearly.
The Nanaimo bar cookie.
We're back in 2. That is just one of the world-famous voices you might never have heard if not for Clive Davis. The legendary music mogul has died at the age of 94. He discovered or shaped the careers of artists like Whitney Houston, Bruce Springsteen, Janis Joplin, and Aretha Franklin. His family said today that Davis left a, quote, indelible mark on culture that will endure for generations. Well, parts of Europe are suffering under a heat wave that has turned deadly, and it's not just high temperatures proving fatal. Anand Ram shows us the extreme discomfort.
As Europeans swelter under a heat wave, even attempts to cool off have cost lives. French authorities say drownings are up as people seek relief, with 13 deaths this weekend alone, including children who couldn't handle river currents. It's an oppressive start to summer across the continent. From Paris to Seville to Munich, people managed however they could.
And we made this wet. Yeah, a scarf, make it wet.
Wet?
And it helps.
Temperatures approached unbearable levels, reading into the mid-40s in Madrid. Little relief for those who have to be outside, other than to keep water close at hand. But if you have to go because of work, you go. What can we do, he says. Air conditioning is still a rarity in Europe, even in schools. Across France, more than 1,300 were closed, and here's why.
It's called an omega block. There's a kind of a bulge in the pressure field with this sort of hot air sitting underneath it and cooler air on either side.
In other words, a heat dome fueled by hot winds from Africa parking itself over Western and Central Europe. And climate change is making matters worse.
When we have a heat wave, we're now seeing temperatures in Europe that are 2 to 4 degrees higher than would have been the case without human-caused warming.
This heat is expected to last well into the week, with the added danger that nighttime temperatures aren't that much better, meaning more deaths may be ahead. Anand Ram, CBC News, Toronto.
A satire-based political party in India is earning the trust of young voters who are fed up with their government.
I am a cockroach.
The origins and intentions of the Cockroach Janta party. AI is taking over drive-thrus in the U.S., and Canada is not that far behind.
Can you take one medium Coke off?
Got it.
No, you added Coke.
So does the tech pass the test? The National breaks down the story shaping our world. Next. Lionel Messi has broken the record for the most all-time goals at the World Cup. The Argentina team captain scored twice today to lead his country past Austria, bringing his career total up to 18. That after he scored 3 goals in his previous match against Algeria. And all this just 2 days before his 39th birthday.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's never in a million years have I ever imagined this. So thank you so much.
That is Canadian Patrice Bergeron learning he'll be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. The other newly announced members of the class of 2026 are Carey Price, Pekka Rinne, Cindy Curley, Brian Burke, and Keith Tkachuk. And Keith Tkachuk's sons will now be reunited after a blockbuster trade that has sent Brady Tkachuk to the Florida Panthers, where he will join his brother Matthew. Cameron McIntosh on how this deal highlights a growing trend driven by star players.
Hot off Olympic gold, brothers reunited. Ottawa Senators captain Brady Tkachuk on his way to Florida to play with his brother Matthew. Ottawa's general manager admitting to being hamstrung.
A lot.
Steve Staios says Tkachuk asked for the trade while using his contract's no movement clause to narrow where he could go.
And I think that this one's unique. I think there's a clear path on why this player wanted to play in a certain market with a certain player.
High scorers, the Tkachuks are both known for a gritty and agitating style. They're big personalities off the ice too, including this moment in the White House, hanging a gold medal on U.S. President Donald Trump.
I'll trade you that for a pen.
The trade comes with 2 years left on Tkachuk's contract after dodging end-of-season questions on whether he would re-sign.
Quite honestly, it's just getting frustrating. It's becoming a distraction.
We've seen player empowerment certainly in the NBA, in Major League Baseball, and to some extent in hockey, but never quite like this.
Hockey writer Sean McIndoe calls the situation part of a larger trend of players under contract trying to dictate where they play. Last season, Quinn Hughes forced his way out of Vancouver, while many are watching U.S. Olympic stars Winnipeg Jets goalie Connor Hellebuck and Toronto Maple Leafs captain Austin Matthews to see if they move.
This seems to keep happening where players in Canada, especially American players, are saying, you know what, maybe I'd rather be somewhere else.
Ottawa loses its captain in exchange for 4 draft picks.
So it felt like, to an extent, Steve Staios' hands were tied and ultimately couldn't even get an NHL roster player back. So they do get a lot of draft capital.
Florida, meanwhile, gets a star. All as Ottawa's GM insists.
I have no intention of this group taking a step back.
Now trying to move forward without Tkachuk. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
In the breakdown tonight, why Britain is looking for a new prime minister again. Plus, why AI may be coming to a drive-thru near you.
What soft drink would you like?
The new digital workers at U.S. fast food chains.
They just help us get the orders in and out faster.
We'll put it all to the test, but first.
I accept that answer with good grace.
Why Keir Starmer failed and who might be next.
This will ensure a new leader is in place before Parliament returns in September.
Margaret Evans on the streets of London looks at how quickly it all fell apart.
There's been speculation all weekend.
Keir Starmer will announce his resignation as early as today.
Westminster has been frantically trying to work out what he's going to do.
Let's move away because we have the lectern coming out now.
I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. I have spoken to His Majesty the King this morning to inform him of my decision.
Keir Starmer, Britain's 6th Prime Minister in 10 years, making way for a 7th. After weeks of resisting pressure from his own MPs to step down, he's agreed to go. Here's why.
Keir Starmer at the moment is just about the most unpopular Prime Minister we've ever had in the United Kingdom, which is startling in some ways because whilst he hasn't been a fantastic Prime Minister, there's no way he's that bad.
But some former Labour supporters insist he is that bad, despite having led the party to a massive victory less than 2 years ago.
He's lost a lot of trust in the public. A lot of what he's saying is going against what true Labour is about.
Starmer's win in 2024 brought an end to 14 years of Conservative rule, and above all, he promised change, not just in terms of dealing with the economy, but how to do politics. Cue early scandals over gifts, including free Taylor Swift tickets for Starmer and some of his ministers, along with unpopular policies he's had to reverse, like cutting winter fuel subsidies for the elderly.
He's just made mistake after mistake as Prime Minister, whether it's the repeated U-turns, whether it's the scandal around Taylor Swift tickets or him getting free glasses or whatever, the sort of slight whiff of corruption about all of this. Whether it's his failure to tell a convincing narrative to the British people. It turns out that for many people, he's not been the Prime Minister they hoped he would be.
What a beautiful accent, too.
Starmer's judgment also took a big hit when he appointed Peter Mandelson, Britain's ambassador to the United States, having to fire him when the depth of Mandelson's friendship with convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein was revealed. But external factors, not of Starmer's own making and not unique to the United Kingdom, have also played their part.
Polarisation, fragmentation, volatility, understandable in a way impatience from voters, given protracted stagnation since 2008 and since 2016 as well. And that does, I think, help explain some of the severity of the problems facing Starmer. But unfortunately for Starmer, it's not the only explanation for why he's in trouble.
When voters delivered a huge slap to Labour in recent local elections, the losses were so big that dozens of Starmer's own MPs called for his resignation.
Keir Starmer's personal brand now appears so tarnished that many MPs simply cannot conceive of a situation in which he leads them into the next election because he's seen as a broken brand.
Andy Burnham is duly elected.
Waiting in the wings, this man, Andy Burnham, the so-called King of the North, the former mayor of Manchester, making a play for the top job, unencumbered for now by Starmer's likability problems.
I think there's an element of visceral hatred of Keir Starmer that is difficult to explain among large swathes of the electorate.
One of the few opinion poll bumps for Starmer was when he resisted U.S. pressure to support Washington in its war against Iran.
Because this is not our war, and we are not going to be dragged into it.
Starmer's supporters say he's strong on the international stage, but even his sympathizers admit he has trouble breaking through at home.
What is it about him?
I don't know. I think maybe charisma, lack of charisma perhaps, and
failing to get his message across to normal people. He speaks in a very corporate, kind of lawyer way.
I think he had to be very measured and balanced at the beginning to win against the Tories, to get a different middle ground. I don't think he's been nearly as bad as some of the other people that I've witnessed since I've been alive.
In 2022, Britain's Conservatives went through 3 prime ministers in less than 2 months, a revolving door of leaders.
We did it!
A door that's begun to swing again, with Andy Burnham hoping to be the next person through it, already backed by a sizable number of Labour MPs.
And on that possible replacement for Keir Starmer, Margaret just mentioned a development today. Andy Burnham was sworn in as a new Member of Parliament. Now to some politics on the streets of India. Gen Z frustrations have fueled the rise of a party trying to turn an insult into a movement. Susan Ormson shows us how it started and where it might be going.
A satirical jab at the government, which exploded into a viral moment. The Cockroach protest party for Indian youth scooped up 21 million online followers in a week before it crawled out into the daylight. Proving these cockroaches could be hard to squash.
The youth of this country is, very frustrated. And this protest is a result of that years of frustration of the youth, especially the students.
Abhijit Dipke, a graduate student, kicked off the movement, attracting Gen Z Indians educated and worried about finding well-paying jobs.
People talk, people protest. At least with these protests, something will go into the heads of the people who are in power. If they are going to stay on the status quo, then what is going to push them? Because they are comfortable.
Youth hold a lot of power, even in terms of the strength of youth in a country as populous as India. I think it only makes sense if the youth, if it forms into a political party.
The meme emerged because of an offhand comment by India's Chief Justice.
Have you seen there are youngsters like cockroaches? They don't get any employment. They don't have any place in profession. Some of them become media. Some of them become social media activists, and they start attacking everyone.
With all due respect to his position and the kind of office that he holds, something like a statement like that coming out of his mouth is a little upsetting.
The justice said he was misunderstood, but the cockroach label stuck.
I think the comments reflects the mindset and the narrative of the ruling party.
We caught up with Dipke, the founder, planning his next rally.
We had a great opportunity to turn this young population into a workforce, but the government has failed to do so because it has misplaced priorities. You find cockroaches where something is rotten. So it means that the system of the country is so rotten that we have got so many cockroaches coming out.
Indian authorities blocked his first X account, calling it a national security threat and claiming its growth came from bots in Pakistan. So Dipke launched another.
They tried to suppress our voices before it becomes too big. But even after all their attempts, now we have got a lot bigger.
So have threats. He was slapped at a recent rally, and his family home is under police protection. The Cockroach Party has seized on a scandal in education. 2 million students trying to get into med school have to rewrite their exams after questions on the first test back in May were leaked. The Cockroach Party is blaming the education ministry and demanding the minister resign. We met Shravani, 19, outside the test center. She scored high on the first exams before those results were canceled. Have you heard about the Cockroach Party?
Yes.
Yeah, what do you think of them?
So good.
Why?
Because the committee is supporting Gen Zs. Because there are nobody who feel our feelings.
She calls Dipke a populist fighter.
He's doing so good.
Do you think they can make a difference?
Maybe in future.
Not many people have heard about it.
But for all the hype, the Cockroach Janta party is not getting national traction, according to this economist and pollster.
India is not going to burst with the youth getting angry, and they're not going to burn down buses, and they're not going to cause any havoc in the country. I have seen India for a long time, a lot more stress in earlier times.
But India is graduating students faster than it can create jobs for them. Nearly a third of youth is unemployed.
The economy can't run fast enough. That is the core of the problem. We've got a fantastic opportunity in the youth. We are ignoring both.
The cockroaches vow they won't be exterminated, plotting whether and how to turn online support into a real party.
Now, on that medical entrance exam scandal Susan just mentioned, over the weekend, those 2 million students took that test again. Well, coming up, AI voice assistants may soon be taking more of your drive-through orders.
Welcome. What can I get you today?
Can I get one original with jalapeno cheese?
Nisha Patel travels south of the border to show how it's working and why Canada might be next.
Your order number is 15.
New order takers may be coming soon to your local drive-thru.
Over the next couple of years, we are going to see that every drive-thru will be voice-enabled.
Nisha Patel went to a Detroit fast food chain where that experiment is fully operational.
The next time you head to a drive-thru,
Welcome. What can I get you today?
you might notice something different.
Can I get you any hot or mild sauce?
I'm at American fast food chain White Castle in Detroit, and AI is about to take my order.
In the U.S., major companies are turning to artificial intelligence to run their drive-thrus, and Canada may not be far behind.
But is AI up to the task, and could fast food jobs become obsolete?
The rollout for AI drive-thrus has been rocky, with some customers trying to trip up the AI intentionally.
In 100 waters.
Absolutely.
And that'll be it.
Others becoming disgruntled if the chatbot makes a mistake.
Can you give me a side of ranch?
Want to add 2 cookies for $1.59?
No, ranch.
The mix-ups going viral and prompting some brands to go back to humans taking the orders.
Hi there.
But over the past year, the technology has improved rapidly, and more fast food chains are putting AI back on the menu.
What soft drink would you like?
American burger chain White Castle calls their AI chatbot Julia. The AI listens to the customer and responds to questions. Inside, the order pops up and staff prepares the food. And if there's a problem, a real person takes over.
At first we had a few hiccups, but we straightened them all out and it's been doing good.
Store manager Denise Harley says she's embracing her new digital coworker.
It just helps us get the orders in and out faster.
And some of the younger staff don't even remember a time when AI wasn't part of the team.
I thought it was going to be hard to work with, but actually kind of makes everything easier.
And she never calls in sick, right?
No. That's the best thing about her. She don't be calling off on us.
For customers, the new system takes some getting used to.
If you do something out of the ordinary, it doesn't recognize it.
It was pretty interesting. I mean, it was no hassle, able to get what I want.
Just how efficient is the AI? We decided to test it out.
Can I get one original with jalapeno cheese?
Your order number is 15. Please pull forward to satisfy your cravings.
There you go.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
That went pretty smoothly.
The next day, we tried a different location.
Oh, you have an extra Coke on there. Can you take one medium Coke off?
Got it.
No, you added Coke. Take off the 2 medium Cokes.
This time, a human had to step in.
Connecting you to a team member. Have a nice day.
Hi, welcome to White Castle.
The technology isn't perfect yet, but it uses generative AI, which means it's always learning and should improve over time.
but it's well above the 90% range. We found that ordering with Julia is better order accuracy than we experienced prior to Julia.
White Castle has Julia in place at about 40 locations and says the chatbot frees up employees to take on other tasks like prepping food and walking it out to customers.
Thank you. Have a good day, okay?
So we haven't used it as a way to reduce employment. We've used it as a way to be hopefully more productive.
Fast food businesses have faced serious challenges in recent years, from rising costs to high worker turnover. The sector is betting on AI to fill the gaps.
We come in with better accuracy, more timely greeting and acceptance to really help the whole operation run smoother.
Introducing Dynamic Drive-Thru by SoundHound AI.
California-based SoundHound develops custom voice AI chatbots, like White Castle's Julia. The company says they can give fast food chains a boost, lowering wait times at the drive-thru and upselling customers on the menu.
I think we're well beyond kind of early adopter phase when it comes to both merchants and consumers as they experience the AI.
Would you like to use rewards points to order your usual?
SoundHound isn't alone. Voice ordering chatbots seem to be hitting a tipping point. Major players like Google, Nvidia, and Presto are partnering with massive fast food chains. The industry is bullish on the opportunity.
Presto and SoundHound both confirm voice AI will be rolling out at Canadian drive-thrus within months. We reached out to multiple fast food chains. They wouldn't disclose their plans. But some labor organizers are concerned about the fallout for workers.
This is just happening at a speed which is outpaced any other technology change that we've seen.
Siobhan Vipond represents workers at the Canadian Labour Congress. She worries AI will have an outsized impact on young people looking for entry-level jobs.
These are like stepping stone jobs for a lot of people. Some people make their career in it, but it's a way into the market.
She says employees will need training opportunities and labor protections more than ever before.
There has to be a discussion with workers, with unions, about how we design this, how it gets implemented.
Over the next 5 years, the World Economic Forum expects positions like cashiers will be one of the fastest declining jobs, driven by automation.
I think they got our order correct and everything. I just hate that this is what the world is coming to. That just means less jobs for humans.
The role of fast food workers could shift rapidly if AI at drive-thrus goes mainstream.
Sorry, did I make a mistake? Try saying add or remove.
So according to a recent U.S. survey, about a quarter of the fast food restaurant operators that use AI do so for customer ordering. Well, next, a very real treat, a human treat inspired by Canada's own Nanaimo bars is making the rounds. There's just one small issue.
Listen carefully, everyone. It is Nanaimo. Nanaimo.
The mayor of the city sets the record straight in our moment. These lovely things are Nanaimo bars, you know that, a Canadian favorite that dates back to the 50s that is now inspiring another treat with a bit of a glaring issue. You see, over and over again, customers are absolutely butchering the pronunciation, so much so that the city's mayor is stepping in, and that makes our moment.
Nanaimo.
Nanaimo, no.
Namito cookie.
Nanaimo bar.
Nanaimo. Nanaimo.
Naomi bar cookie. I think it's like a country, I think.
Nanaimo.
Canadian Naomi cookie. Clearly, a bunch of folks who have no idea where Nanaimo is, have no idea what Nanaimo bar is, making fools of themselves, trying to pronounce what most of us here in the West Coast know is a pretty commonly known, well-known, respected name. Listen carefully, everyone. It is Nanaimo. Nanaimo. I would hope that people would just figure out how to pronounce Nanaimo, recognize the right recipe, and stick to the facts. It was presented at the dinner in Washington, D.C. when our former Prime Minister hosted the Obamas, for heaven's sakes. It deserves respect.
So this is how y'all doing it in Canada?
It's disturbing, obviously, but I must say, as much as they look like interesting desserts, there's nothing like the real thing.
You tell him, Mr. Mayor. Listen, it was first officially called the Nanaimo bar. Back in 1953, it was printed in the Vancouver Sun as the Reader Prize recipe of the day. Good choice then and now. From all of us at The National, thanks for being with us. I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Take care.